Hi guys, and welcome to a video where I'm going to be redrawing this art piece. I don't know exactly when I drew this, but I think it was around half a year ago. This is a drawing of a ghost girl I made. I think she was an OC whose story was never finished. I don't even think I gave her a name. All I remember about this character is that she was an antagonist who died after being experimented on, but I think that's as far as I got into making the story she was supposed to be from. She has light blue hair, and some of her bones are just kind of floating in this weird blue liquid. Her outfit isn't that bad, but the colors for the hair accessories and her shoes don't match with the rest of the design very well. Her skirt also has this really weird stitch going through it, which is really thick for some reason and just looks kind of out of place. Looking at the drawing now, a few things stick out to me, like the colored line art being really messy and just overlapping in places it shouldn't. I used the light pen a lot more often in some of my older drawings, and this was literally the second drawing I ever made on Procreate, so you can kind of tell I wasn't fully used to the app yet. The eyes are also a lot more cartoony than I would normally draw. Even back then, I didn't really draw eyes like that, so I guess I wanted to do something special here. I'm going to go ahead and start the actual speed paint since I think this intro is getting too long, but first I just want to say I'm renaming my speed paint videos to just the speed paint series, and with that out of the way, we're just going to go ahead and start the actual drawing part. So I'm starting off just sketching the drawing and making a few small changes here and there. I don't actually think the original design was that bad other than some questionable color choices, so I'm mostly just updating it into my current style. I think I've gotten at least a little better at anatomy since the original was drawn, and I'm trying to draw my characters with all 5 fingers instead of 3 now, but I couldn't get the gloves to look right, so we're just gonna all agree she has 5 fingers under the gloves, okay? I'm also going to get rid of the stitch on her skirt and the weird eyes on the shoes. I think the shoes were the worst part of the original, so I definitely wanted to change them here. I really don't know what I was thinking with those zombie green colored shoes, and maybe I wasn't thinking and just kind of came up with the first thing I could think of, because it is kind of hard to actually make creative looking shoes. Even in this redesign, her shoes are still pretty basic. Definitely better looking, but not more interesting. After I finished the hair, it was on to the face, and I was having a lot of trouble getting the face to actually look right, so I ended up having to just erase the face guide and remake it, and that ended up looking a lot better. I decided to make her eyes less cartoony and remove the skulls in her pupils. This speed paint is kind of making me want to try more exaggerated eye expressions again, so let me know what you'd think of that in the comments. I also got rid of the, sand smile I always used to use. I was never in the Undertale fandom, that's just the best comparison I could think of. Her expression definitely gives off a different vibe now, but I think it fits with the other changes. For me, the line art is usually either one of the most boring parts of the drawing or one of the most fun things to draw, and luckily I enjoyed it this time, so that was nice. I also almost forgot to add the ears. I used to not draw ears in my style, but now I do, so that was another change with this redraw. Before redrawing this, I was wondering if my art style had actually been improving, but now that I'm done with it, I think I can say that I have actually been getting better at art. I remember when I made the original drawing, I was super proud of it and thought it was the best drawing I had made. So the fact that not even a full year later, I can already spot and fix so many issues with it means that I have actually been growing as an artist. Also, I'm probably going to get comments about her ribcage being inaccurate. And you're right. But the fact she was experimented on is a good enough excuse for why her bones look weird. If I ever decide to finish this character's story, I might go back and make her skeleton more accurate, but for now, the bones look cool and that's all that matters to me. Just because I've gotten better at anatomy since the original was made doesn't mean I'm actually good at anatomy yet. When I started coloring, I decided I wanted to make the blue ectoplasm stuff translucent, so I added some lines behind her body since you would be able to see her hair through the blue stuff. Also, I realized while making this video that you can't see the outlines very well when I remove the canvas, so I'll try to fix that in the future. I kept the colors for her outfit mostly the same, but I gave the sleeves and gloves a brighter purple and the skirt a lighter one. I also changed the hair clips and the shoes to this nice pink color and made the socks white instead of gray. Compared to the original, I think the new colors look a lot better together. I changed her eye color a little, but kept the hair the same. I also remembered to properly layer the hair for once, since part of it has to go behind her body. Usually, I just do it all on one layer, even when part of it is supposed to be behind her, so I'm gonna work on that eventually. In the original, I tried to do this thing where the shading was different depending on what it was touching. So like, if the shading was between the hair and the skin, the shading color would be a mix between the hair and the skin tone. I don't think that's how shading actually works, so I didn't do that here. I decided to make the outlines colored like in the original, and I was going to use the light pen again, but I decided it didn't look that good, so I just did that part normally. Like I said earlier, I was pretty new to Procreate when I made the original drawing, and since then I've learned about the clipping mask feature, which makes it a lot easier to do colored outlines. I remember getting pretty frustrated during this part since I kept finding mistakes in the coloring and having to switch layers to fix them, but eventually I did finish the outlines and the drawing was complete. It was really fun to make and I'm glad I finished it. So that was the speed paint. I don't really know what footage to put here, so I'm just gonna use footage of me making this character in Gacha. Here's the original drawing and here is the remake. If I put them side by side, you can really see the differences. The redraw isn't perfect. I think the line art is a bit too thin in some places, but I still really like it and it's definitely an improvement over the original. If you've made it this far, you should consider liking and subscribing for more art content and other cool things. Please give me name suggestions for this girl in the comments, and I hope you have a good rest of your day/night. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.